All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome on back. Continuing along, of course, our Wednesday afternoon here live in the Cyber Group Trading Room, streaming across social media, Facebook and YouTube Live. Welcome on back. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. There we go. Unanimous across the board. David, Bonnie, Michael, Patrick, Dennis, you guys are coming in too fast for me here in the live trading room. Great to see everybody, though. And like I said, welcome on back, joining us streaming across social media. So let's hop into it, guys. The Dow has been pretty flat today. I mean, we had a nice move up in the after hours yesterday, pre-market this morning off of good vaccine news. Ended up seeing a bit of a drop-off going into the late morning, early afternoon. But for the last couple of hours, things have been pretty flat, pretty calm. Now, that's not to be said with this Gene trade, right? So Gene, you could see still near the highs of the day, but up an astonishing 300+% at this point, 299. We'll crack 300. There we go. So, at this point, it's already been pulling back from the high of the day, 988. I want to take a quick little trip back if I can. I got the time here right now. So, news came out this morning on Gene early on this morning, guys, pre-market. It was in relation to COVID news as well. I'm going to post that here in the chat board. I'm going to cross social media here. Just allow me a quick sec, guys. I'll post that on YouTube, Facebook for everybody there. So news came out this morning, Gene, in relation to COVID-19 severity risk test. All right, well, ended up making a huge run up, but this isn't the first time that we've caught this stock. And I was going to say, I thought this was the first stock that I ended up ever seeing up over 100%. We're talking about back in 2014 when I was first hired by Fausto. I first joined CTU back October 6th. Don't ask me why I know that. It's like the back of my hand. But, I remember a few days later, I ended up seeing some crazy stock run up. At the time, it was Lake, L-A-K-E. You could see, obviously, though, shortly after, though, going back into the January 2015 there, Gene ended up making a huge squeeze up. So I want to show you, actually, that first pop at the time. Our first trip on Gene here. We ended up seeing this back on January 29th, 2014. Make this run up. I think at the time, I looked back, I didn't remember this, but I looked back, it was based off of like earnings and good guidance. That was it. So for the most part, this year was a complete short squeeze, complete run up, low volume run up to see it, go from essentially 5 all the way to 10, double top breakout, maybe the second or third attempt there to run higher, but ran higher from $10 all the way up to, over 18. So I'm pretty familiar with this stock, and not only did we see this run up to 18 plus that day, but of course on the daily chart you can see, a few days down the line, ended up making this huge exponential run up day over day, all the way up to essentially $45. At this point, enough of me talking. This thing is breaking out over 10 as we speak. So, the Gene trade's been phenomenal, right? I mean, going into the market open, we were watching this, pulled back shortly after the open, but ended up taking off. And as you could see, it built a really steady trend across the day. No real threat of this beginning to, well, I guess a couple. Pulled back quite a bit here, but never ended up making a break below major support that we had off of 550. Ended up making a new high later on. A couple of these patterns where you see these technical flags begin to build and pop higher. So like I was saying just before, this thing just broke above resistance here at 10 going into the afternoon. I would assume the first break over 10, it would fail. So, popped up to 10.30, I mean, for what it's worth. But you can see now at this point beginning to shake back under the price. Same thing happened, guys, at other price levels earlier today, off of 8, off of 7, off of 6 as well. So not surprising at this point. Perhaps if this continues to hold a higher low, we'll happen to see this run up higher going into the afternoon. I mean, easily we're going to put this on our list, keep this on our list at this point. All right, let's see. LM closed on TNA ETF, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Gene closed out on Penn Gene C in our trading room, that is. I got to give a couple of quick shout outs. I can't give the profits and so forth because this was traded so many times here. And it wasn't just by these gentlemen, but, Gene C and Jerry J, you guys in particular cleaned up on this Gene trade. Gene, I mean, I would like to hope you would do so on your namesake stock, but congrats, guys, both of you, and across the board for all of us here in the trading room that ended up doing well on this trade. All right, so for right now, we'll look to see if this could hold a higher low, squeeze back up towards that 10 level going into the end of the day. We'll keep the Gene stock on our list going into the close. All right, so what else do we have here, guys? The JRJC, I may as well just go from top to bottom already here. We'll go through a couple of others, though, just in between. But JRJC for the squeeze up in pre-market, I mean, one thing to look for, guys, when it comes to activity in the pre-market is the float. And, us here, we like to trade stocks that are very volatile, very active. You don't really want to trade a stock that's too low float. Under certain conditions and under certain circumstances on the chart, on the order book, perhaps we'll look to call it out, trade it. So JRJC, of course, you could see ended up making a hell of a run up early in pre-market, and with there being no volatility halts in the pre-market trading sessions, I mean, it allowed it free range to run up beautifully. Perfect trend, what seems to be from 20 all the way up to 30, a little bit more. Well, going into the market open, we got to assume for a stock that's up this much, it's going to pull back. Now, the float on this trade, just to let you guys know, I think it was 240,000 shares. That's the float on this stock. And by the time the market opened up, I don't have the volume total here for you, but you could at least see, currently 25 million shares this stock is trading today. Probably going into the open, it was trading a few million. So, when we happen to see a stock trading that much higher compared to its float, and the float to begin with being like 240 freaking thousand shares, that's like minimal. That's like, typically like you'll go around from other instructors, other people, around on the internet, so forth, they'll define a low float stock to be 20 million shares, 15 million, 10 million shares. Ultimately, we have to make sure we are comfortable with the stock that we're trading. So it's not to say that a 20 million share float stock is safer than 10 million. But when we're dealing with the stock 240,000 share float, there are certain patterns that we have to assume. In this case, for a stock that made a 300% run up from 10 to 30, when the market opens, I don't think this thing is going to run much higher. Ended up pulling back. It got halted on the way down, and then from there ended up like just getting crushed. So at this point, this JRJC is, I mean, it's at the lows right now, probably going to free fall going into the afternoon. If not today, then I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow. All right, so at least we're going to put on our list. The JRJC, you can assume I'm not going to put on the list going into the close now. What's this? W key. Wise key. The hell is this? Look at the amount of halts on this thing from 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not going to do a count. Probably take me about 15, 20 minutes just to count the halts. But man, this thing got halted on the way up, got halted on the way down, up, 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 down. And at this point, I mean, it's just all over the place. Huge spread. Order book is just empty. All right, we'll keep it moving. Let me get the price going now. The STIM looks pretty good, or pretty interesting at this point. I'll consider it. But from this morning, we did pretty well on this trade. We ended up catching this shortly after the open, low volume run up. We ended up seeing this more so break above resistance at first above 3. It was a sharp pop and drop from 3 at first. Popped above 3, held 3, and then shortly after broke under and trended down. But we ended up, of course, seeing this make a new run going into the afternoon. Rebroke above resistance off of that 3 level, ran all the way up to 364 the high. And for right now, I mean, I don't mind putting this on our list in hopes of a higher low. With such a run up here, it wouldn't surprise me if this begins to pull back closer towards that 3 level. But for the meantime, I mean, the stock's trading, 82,000 shares per minute. It did just break below a big support level, so that does factor in. But let's see. 237. Ooh, yeah, 320. 27K print, whole strip of prints here in red. A lot of selling on the bid. Put a little line at 320. How about that? Make this one bigger. It's our big support. It's our little support. All right. Well, for right now, we'll put this one on STIM. Oh, actually, you know what? This just caught my eye too. You would have thought I would have said this earlier, but man, this stock is shortable. I didn't even see that until right now. I thought it was hard to borrow from earlier today, at least for those with TradeStation. Doesn't say HB next to the ticker. If it is hard to borrow on your end, check to see if you can request the shares. I mean, it's up 61%, already dropped off quite a bit from the highs, but if this ends up failing to make a higher low and ends up re-breaking support here coming up, could be worth a shot. Yeah, Mogo, pretty flat, tight range, popped early in pre-market, dumped off after the open. Yeah, we'll keep it pushing here. Fausto's BE trade. I feel like I'd be fired if I didn't put this on our list right now. BE, and I'm kidding when I say that, but Fausto's been calling this out all morning, all day today. So he ended up having to leave the room, I think, for a little bit. He might be coming back going into the final 30 minutes, but I know he had to step out. But going into the close, I know that he would want to focus on this BE trade, holding real strong going into the afternoon near the highs. It looks like it has to re-break above 1801, 1804. A couple of orders on the ask there. 14K seller just popped up, popping in and out. See that at 18 bucks. But yeah, I mean, hey, for the meantime, BE, it also is shortable if it ends up failing to break higher. But of course, we'll hope that this ends up running going into the afternoon. Let's see, actually, just really quick. I don't have the book map up, level 4 for this thing here at least, but you can see it's been really flat underneath 18. It's like building a bit of a Fausto flag underneath the level. You know, pop, shook around the level earlier just before, pulled back and held underneath. So it's definitely the level to watch here, this 18. This one was nasty, MBRX, and you'd figure for a slow stock, how could it be nasty? I mean, we're not going to hold the stock as it keeps dropping, but I ended up entering this trade off of 120 earlier today. I was in on a decent chunk of shares. For a dollar stock, I'm not trading this on like 20, 30,000 shares, you know, but doing this on 5,000 shares here. Popped from 120. I sold 3/5 of my position. I think it was around 127. I wanted more, held on. And then it pulled back, and I ended up wiping out the rest of my trades. So the 2,000 shares I had left over, I ended up scratching. It happens. But man, look at this thing now, pulled all the way back down towards 104. So MBRX, sad to say it, but this level 1 stock definitely not worth it going into the afternoon. IMMP popped earlier today. Let me go to the pre-market here, maybe after hours. I think this broke in the after hours yesterday. Yeah. There we go. I was going to say, looking at the daily chart, something looked a tad off there. So popped in the after hours, pulled back early in pre-market, popped shortly after the open. Volume died off rather quick. It's like a steady downtrend here on the volume bars. Pretty interesting. Of course, with that, though, comes a big drop-off. So for right now, we're going to pass on this too. All right, we'll keep it going, guys. I mean, we have a good list so far. We're going to obviously only at 17. We'll see what else we can get. This EQ, I definitely was watching going into the market open, given the run up and down that we've had over the last couple of days. EQ, we ended up trading going into, what's today, Wednesday, Monday of this week. Popped from 850 all the way up to 24, 25 bucks, the high. Actually, much more than that. I think it like topped off 29. Not 27 down the middle. I'm thinking of WIMI, WIMI. There's like so many of these stocks that have been like running up crazy from like 5 to 20, 8 to 30. So, this pulled back quite a bit going into the pre-market yesterday morning, dumped off completely after. So, for the range up and down, you have to keep an eye on this trade. If you're more of a level 3, 4, 5 trader, more of a level 4 to 5 trader, I'd say this thing has a big spread. But, this is a good stock to keep on the side list. Probably will take it off the side list at some point. Will probably die off at some point, pull back down, not really be a good trade to watch day over day. But, after pulling back so much yesterday, down over 50+%, the hope is to see a move like this. We ended up catching it. Thing still is pretty volatile on the run up, though. Big spread, much like it has right now. Lighter order book even than this. So, nice run, volume died off. And for right now, at least, I think this might even begin to, pull back a bit further. Lower highs beginning to build. Looks like a rounded top forming. All right. What else do we have here, guys? IBIO. Let's see here. Ooh, nice run here. I was going to say IBIO. I wrote down this morning on my notepad. It was one I was thinking about watching going into the market open. It was not one of the main 3 or 4 I ended up choosing to watch. I'll tell you, I missed, Gene most of that run early on in the morning on Gene because that wasn't one of the main 3 or 4 I personally was watching as well. So I missed out on Gene. Thankfully, I stayed away from IBIO. But man, this thing's pushing up really nicely now. 70K seller on the ask at 3. It's a nice level 1 to 2 stock right now. Yeah, easy enough for us to put on the list. Hopefully, just as easy of a trade. Oh, actually, you know what? I think because I had this up early in the morning, I wrote this on my notepad. I might still have the book map open for it. Hope I do. Uh-oh, I think I may have actually closed it. All right, I'll tell you. I'll load up at least IBIO and Bookmap. I'll come back to this trade. I want to see what the order book looks like here for book on level 4. All right, so IBIO looking pretty good here. We got the cruise lines, RCL, NCLH, CCL, Penn actually as well. That's not a cruise line, but entertainment stock play as well. So a lot of the side list stocks moving up pretty nicely here still. Market's flat, but RCL's cruising on up, pun intended. You knew I couldn't resist that. NCLH, same thing, of course, though. So looks like I might just put cruise lines all together. Wouldn't be surprised if the airlines are moving the same way. We'll just check in quickly on airline sector, ETF, jets. Oh, yeah, definitely. Got to figure every other one is running. Yeah. UAL, AAL, all moving up. All right, Air and Sea, as we like to call it here in the trading room. I'll just put it that way. And we were also talking about Penn National Gaming earlier today. Fausto had made a mention, near the high, still trending up pretty nicely. So maybe casino stocks making a nice squeeze altogether as well. Penn's the more volatile of the three. Ooh, Michael taking a rather risky short off the highs there, picked up 17 cents though. Nice trade. He was in from 34.37 on Penn. We got to pick and choose our battles, folks. I don't think I'm going to put all the casino stocks on our list. I think I'm just going to put Penn on our list, if anything. I like all the other airlines, all the other cruise lines, though, if anything. All right. What else do we have? Play. Man, we might have like a 30 stock list. I say that every day now at this point, but at this point, we have like a lot of side list stocks on the percent gain side here. Eesh, Gene just made a huge drop right now, guys. We'll go back to that as well. Don't get me wrong. Play's looking great here. At least I'll keep this on the side. Just I want to go through the losers list first. I wouldn't be surprised if I add this to our main list at the end of it all, but I want to just see if there's anything else otherwise on the gainers side. Hop over to the losers list here in a moment. Fossil, new high of the day, kind of slow. Nice trend, but kind of slow. I think there's too much movement to focus on a trade like this for right now. All right, one more here. Probably shouldn't have even clicked it. Yeah. Talk about a huge tease today. PHUN fun and tease also short squeeze potential. That kind of rhymed, but look at fun. PHUN. Look at the amount of reverse splits at least over the last year and a half or so. I mean, it wasn't a $500 stock back in 2019. We've been familiar with this trade, but unfortunately, as usual, this stock has been a big tease, and unfortunately, this thing caught me early this morning. Not for a big loss, but just they add up these tiny 2-cent, 3-cent losses. And, hey, it's a cheap stock. I was doing this one on 2,500 shares. So, those add up a little bit. After the third one, I picked up a win, but then 3 losses. I said, that's it. I'm moving on. It's not worth it. Made a pop in pre-market, dumped off, and then never really had a great buying opportunity after. All right, let's hop over to the losers list, guys, see if there's anything on that side of the field looking just as good. Our RIGL here, percent gainers list yesterday, percent losers list today. It's moving up nicely off 3. Very tradable stock, shortable, down big, obviously, once again today. Not once again, but I guess once again, on the gainers or losers list, very active once again. Also, once again, shortable. So, yeah, RIGL we'll put on our list once again going into the afternoon. All right, a bunch of stuff otherwise hard to borrow. ALT on the losers list. Squeezing up a bit here. What happened to SRNE here? Down 17%. Whoa, thing got crushed. I want to take a quick look here on Benzinga Pro right now because this is a stock that we tend to trade, frequently off of news. So I didn't see what happened here on this trade. I mean, they've been in talks with COVID vaccine, stuff. Nothing specific that I see so far. Losers list. Let's see. Yeah, I got nothing right now, guys, on this SRNE trade. Actually, the only thing I do have, it was from 10:58 in the morning. Oh, actually, That actually may have done it. Oh, man. I'm going to post the little headline here for us. Our guy Cramer, Jim Cramer, shared his thoughts on SRNE, a couple of other stocks. Sorrento is not in the headline, but I guess he talked about them. Probably didn't say much good stuff about them, but he said is a long shot 20-1 specifically. That's what I'm reading up on right now as we speak. So I'll repost that as the snippet. All right. Well, either way, I mean, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. We'll catch this on some sort of dead cat bounce. We know how right Jim Cramer is. So there we go, James. He says, don't listen to the Cramer. And the only Cramer I'll listen to is Cosmo. This one's not really doing that much. Shortable. It's at the lows. But all right. There we go. We got a few Seinfeld people in there. Oh, let me backtrack. I will say the character from Seinfeld, not the person playing the character. Let's just put it that way. I forgot. I'm sorry. Forgot about that. That was a long time ago. Jeez. Person playing the character, not that great. The character from Seinfeld, that guy's good. All right. Let's see. Anything else, though, guys? Going into the end of the day. Up, down, left, right, 10%. Looking good. Jeez, this W key trade still. I mean, just I can't believe it. The amount of halts on the way up. Dump back down. I think that'll do it, guys. I mean, we'll run a quick scan here. Otherwise, see if anything else popping. Oh, I got a quick housekeeping note before we finish up. That's it, though. We'll check back in on Gene Rather, too, because I said I'd go back to that. Big drop off. Broke down below support from, well, I mean, it was already shaking around 9, but broke lower on the chart through 850. Held 850 as resistance. Looks like it's on its way down towards 8. Keep it on our list, though, given the range up and down. You know, if this thing wants to break higher going into the close, perhaps we end up seeing this make a bit of a shake. You know, hopefully we see support begin to build now at this point. SNGX, I'm getting a ping from Benzinga on. Volume's pretty crappy. Yeah, this thing's going. It's not really looking that interesting. I mean, new high of the day, up 7%. For right now, I'm going to keep this on the side. All right, I'll tell you, we don't really have too big of a list. I'll just add play Dave & Buster's. That was looking pretty good. Shortable stock as well if it goes the other way. Nah, I appreciate the compliment there, Peter from YouTube. He says Cyber Trading University is faster in discovering stocks than Cramer. Hey, well, sometimes we're wrong, right? We're happy to admit when we are. It's all about knowing what to do when you are wrong, though. That's what we try and teach, at least. All right, guys, let's see. Anything else here? Plug, new high of the day, slow. It's on the side list. I got the ping from Benzinga, new high, but not really that appealing. Looks like the Dow is beginning to push lower here, shaking a bit. James says, if you want to lose the money, listen to Cramer. Yeah, I'd say so. All right, guys, I think that we're good to go. Otherwise, I want to do one small housekeeping note, though, before we finish. I believe tomorrow, Fausto will be presenting, as has been the case all week. I know that Wealth 365 has been going on all week. But if you go right to our website, cybertradinguniversity.com, you'll see the homepage right then and there. If you guys want to check out Fausto, alongside other great presenters as well, Jill Malandrino from NASDAQ. Aside from her, we have other great presenters too, Stephen Brooks, Bo Yoder. He's come on our end before with our Cyber Expo. Make sure that you guys at least click the link on the website. You'll register, and then at least from that point, Fausto will begin personally at 12 p.m. Eastern. All right, another short from Michael on Penn, and that will take us into the close, guys. All right, so as usual, as I always say, let's try and close out this Wednesday afternoon just as well as we had opened it up. Take care.